So I haven't recorded a video for a while, and I'd like to record one. And we're going to talk about how to get out of a rut. Now, I recently had been in a bit of a rut myself, and maybe you can relate. And it was actually after like a good high. I went to Singapore because I felt cold too, visited a few Buddhist temples, and energy was going. I was able to do my work and everything else. I had a lot of energy. I didn't have much resistance to do things. I was able to wake up early, like 2-3 a.m. And suddenly, after I landed in Cambodia, just a few days in, I moved in a new apartment. And slowly, I started falling into a rut. It was harder to wake up, to actually start work early, start the day early. It started becoming quite hard to do things. I started a new course. It was becoming really hard to actually fulfill the tasks on the course. The only thing that was going well is my diet. I was easily able to be 100% fruit, and I wasn't even planning to do that. It just happened because all the rest of the food was kind of shit, to be honest, and not really good, or too pricey. So I couldn't even binge on like good cookies or anything like that, like I could do in US or Europe or London. And so somehow, at first it was fine, and then it started getting worse and worse and worse. And today I had like probably the worst day in a while, where I would just spend like half a day on my phone scrolling and eating. I ate like a bunch of meat and stuff, way too much. A person should, like a lot of dried beef jerky, very good quality, but way too much for one portion. And my teeth are hurting now because I was chewing too much meat, because I haven't had that much meat in a while in one go, especially kind of red meat. And energy in the body is low. It's not electric. I'm not buzzing with energy. And it's just a waste of energy. I wasted a lot of energy. And the reality is, because I'm not really living the life I want to be living. I thought I want to be doing something, but clearly it's not really working out. And I haven't listened to my heart, and I haven't listened to the signals that I was getting about it. I didn't really listen to the signals and the clues. And my intuition was telling me to live in another place, but I chose this one because it was cheaper and a better deal financially. Like, I kind of talked myself into it because I kind of needed to make a decision. And I guess lesson learned is don't try to save money on critical things. The place you live in is critical. There's just a lot of problems here. Everything keeps breaking, but even beyond that, energy just isn't flowing. Creativity just isn't flowing. I'm not really on that high energy. And it sucks. It sucks a lot. And so what I've done, I reached out to my friend for a call. And it kind of came to me that, yeah, man, I mean, I kind of want to go to China. But even more than that, I want to go to Japan first, actually. I want to go to Japan first, spend a few months in Japan, because I don't think there's, right now at least in how I see it, I don't think there's much more to do than a few months in Japan for me at this stage. Some will say there's plenty of to do for years, probably yes, but for me. But in China, I feel like there are plenty of things to do for me for years. Like, I feel like I can just get lost in China and disappear for a few years easily, because it's so vast, so big, and there's just so much to explore, so much culture I appreciate and enjoy. And just the land is so big as well. And so yeah, I guess like I was kind of waiting for something, and in my mind I planned to get really good at marketing and making videos, so I can start making more money, so that would make my trip easier. But I'm not really coming from a place of abundance here, from a place that I already have everything that I need to have my dreams come true. I'm not really living from that place. And so what happens as a result? It's nothing. Things just go south. Things just start breaking, because I keep reinforcing the idea that, okay, I need to stay here for 2 months. because I already paid. I need to stay here for 2 months because I need to get good at this Instagram because I paid for a course. And so I need to get good at this marketing for the money to start coming in. And then I'll be able to travel and live in the places I really want to be living. And that's just not the reality. That's just not the reality of how I should be living. So clearly everything just starts breaking. And that's fine. That's just like a lesson learned. Like, you know, this happened before a few times and it was lasting for months. Other times it lasted 2 weeks and stuff. And I feel like I just need to be moving with that fresh energy all the time. And so, yeah, you get a worse quality of accommodation because you're paying for a few nights at each time. When you pay for a month, you get way better quality or way better deals. But the energy just becomes stagnant, whether I'm in a 5-star hotel or a friend's couch or a simple apartment or a 2 or a 3-star hotel. It's all becomes stagnant. So this blessing and a curse in one is just I need to keep moving and solving all of that stuff on the go, getting good at the course on the go, getting good at filming on the go, because that's how I'm going to be living. So I need to be learning that on the go straight away, because that's just how I live. That's just how I roll. And that's fine. That's great. Beyond fine, that's great. So we'll be doing that. So a lot of the times we have intuition telling us to do things yet we're not doing it. And in my case, if I'm not listening to that voice in my heart, everything just starts fucking breaking. My body just stops working the way it should be. I start doing a bunch of weird shit. And this comes to addictions. The reason we're so addicted to things, to food, to drugs, to smoking, to scrolling, to adult content, to comedy, to something else, the things we're addicted to, whatever we have, is because we're not really living the life we want to be living, we should be living, we are called to live. We suppress our desires so much, so intensely, so powerfully is our ability to suppress what's true, that we then cannot live with it. In some way we become fragmented and weird, and emotion starts lacking, and life becomes so dull and so bleak that we need a way to stimulate those emotions. And so we end up procrastinating, watching reels one after the other, eating junk food, eating cookies, eating sweets, eating desserts, smoking, drinking, drugs, plenty of promiscuity, lots of new partners, lots of sex. And sex isn't bad, and promiscuity is a negative term, but sleeping with a lot of partners isn't bad if that's what you really want and called to do. But quite often it becomes a distraction, and in my case it became a distraction again. Like for a few days in a row I've been sleeping with a new partner every night, and I'm like, fuck, it's not really what I want to be doing. And so all these coping mechanisms we have, and they just come back. They kind of say like once you're an addict, you're always an addict, but I think that's just a human condition, like of how much can you live in connection with your intuition and in connection with your heart. And the more ambitious you are for your spiritual attainment, the less deviation your life will accept. Yeah, if you not really want to live to that high level potential, you can deviate quite a lot from your true core intuition, desire, purpose, heart. But the faster you want to go, the higher you want to go, that deviation, acceptable deviation, becomes smaller. That before you could have made a lot of mistakes and barely anything would have happened, but you kind of start feeling, okay, something's going wrong. But you make a tiny bit of off move and you just get burned because the velocity is so high. And so I've asked for it, because I've been on a spiritual journey for a while now. I've asked for it, I've accepted it, I've entered many temples, many shrines, many ceremonies, many schools. I've touched and absorbed many teachers and masters and gurus I've spoken with or connected with in some way. So there's only one way forward, and with that absolute trust that the universe has my back and I will have everything I need to be able to fulfill it. somehow I feel like on some level there's that like, okay, there needs to be an X amount of money on the bank account for me to truly feel safe. Some people say it's like, oh, 6 months of your expenses ahead. Once you have that, then you'll feel safe and at peace. But somehow just accumulating cash doesn't work. It makes me so stagnant. Life becomes so shit and so dull. But when I'm maxed out, whatever amount of money I get, whether it's $1,000 or 500 or 100 or 300 or 1.5, 2.5, whatever money comes in, if I'm using it as fast as possible, putting it into work, somehow life becomes different, so alive. And I think that's just the way, maybe that's just the way right now. Constantly on that new thing. Constantly on that new thing. It's great. It's great. Aliveness is there. Maximum aliveness is there on that kind of a regimen. So if you're struggling with a rut, being in a slump, being in a swamp, brain rot, the new term people use, dead end, the new low, floor, lost that zest for life, lost that mojo, lost that fire, is you're not really listening to what you should be doing. And so there's a couple ways to do it. You can listen to yourself, but if you're so stuck, just reach out for help and for proper, you probably have, it's not everyone, but you probably have in your communication, in your social circle, in your friend list or whatever, acquaintances, 1 or 2 people who are great mirrors. So they're able to reflect you, the true you, without really adding much of themselves to it. Because unfortunately what happens is you speak to people and they're not able to clearly reflect you what you're asking. They're filtering it through their own stuff, and so quite often you will get things filtered through their lens of what they want for you, what they think is the best for you, what they think is the best for them. Or they will filter it through their own fears or through their own insecurities and talk you out of doing something that's great. And there are other people who are great mirrors and they will be like, man, you should do that because I can see you light up for that, and I think that's exactly what you should be doing. I'm getting excited thinking that you would be doing that. And they might even not want to do that. They might even say, no, that's not what I want to do. But I can see that's exactly what you want to do. I can see how you change. I can see how your body shifts. I can see how your energy and voice and eyes and everything else change, and breathing changes. The whole system changes when you talk about that thing. So that's what you should be doing. The people who are able to recognize that in you, they're your help. If you're not able to hear yourself in that moments, which happens quite a bit with me, they're able to hear you. And it's easier. This is how we work as a society, in communities, psychologists, coaches, healers, whatever, reflect, and able to indicate and help each other accelerate. That's really way faster, because mirror. And a lot of people are unclear, filtered, different colored mirrors, but you need an absolutely base color mirror, empty mirror, basically. Only pure reflection, as pure as possible. I don't think most people are 100% pure mirrors, but as pure as possible, or they're able to be that in the moment for you. And you sometimes even hear when they're putting something of their own stuff and something that they want for you or from you, and when they're able to reflect fully, and then you listen to the pure reflection. And if you don't have anyone like that, then reach out to some coaches, people who are able to mentor and reflect well. They'll be able to help, because coaching is 100% pure reflection. Coaches are there to help. This is the new technology for absolute well-being, full-on powered life, and that's what you need. So I'm recording this video not in my best state, but I'm in my connection right now to the purpose and to that energy driven. And although I was exhausted, I exhausted myself so much I can't even get out of bed. Now that I'm connected to that, I can move. The electricity, the buzz is gone from the body to a degree, but the core is on fire, and that core can move through any obstacle, including a lower energy, lower electricity body, lower vibrance, lower vibration, lower vibrance body, able to pull it through. It's possible. So find a way to connect to that, get help, get inspiration, coaches, mentors, friends, gurus, teachers, masters, books, videos, podcasts, ideally a conversation, but if that's not available, a book or a podcast can also help to reflect. Journaling, meditation potentially can do. Sometimes meditation does it for me and I'm like, that's it. And sometimes a conversation with some powerful mirror, as in a person who is able to reflect well as a mirror, does way more. And it really depends. You want to utilize everything that works for you. And if you don't know what works, try everything. I wish you a great and beautiful day. Take care.